Hi there, this is Pranay from the VS Diary. I hope you are doing great. Good morning, afternoon, evening, depending on your geographic location. So, in today's session, we are going to talk about how do we install the SRS, which is secondary replication server. How do we create the route between primary rep server and secondary rep server? How do we install non-ID server? How do we make use of ID server? And then how do we also set up replication between ASC1 to ASC2, which is primary and secondary, through two replication servers. So, PRS and SRS. So, primary rep server which will be used for, we will be using rep server, and then RS02 is the installation that we have done for the second rep server. So, we have done only installation, not configuration. So, I want to show you how do we do the configuration for secondary rep server, and then how do we make use of it. So, this will be, this PRS and SRS is very much used when you have heterogeneous environment, and also when you have few servers on prem and then few servers are on the cloud or on some AWS or Google Cloud or Azure or anything. So, basically PRS stays on prem and SRS stays on the cloud, or vice versa. That is how it works. So, we can have multiple SRS for one PRS. Okay. So, you have to specify what is the ID server, which will be the primary rep server, and then which is the non-ID server. Okay. So, we will have to communicate at the primary side, which will be with the PRS, and secondary side will be communicating with the SRS, right. That is how it works. So, let us start the installation. So, installation is completed. Now, we will do the configuration. Okay. So, RS02 is what I have installed here. Okay. So, before doing anything, let us set the sybase.sh. Okay, done. So, now what we will do is we will go to rep server, install directory, and then we have rs_edit. So, let us launch that. Okay. So, what we need to do is we need to do the server product, right. So, let us do that. Okay. One replication server. So, install a new replication server. So, that is why we often exchange these words, install a new replication server. So, installation and configuration. Installation is the binary installation, and then we do the installation of replication server. So, let us do one. Okay. So, everything is incomplete. So, one. Okay, what is the name that you want to give? So, we will give RS02. Okay, this one is done. Now, is this replication server the ID server? So, we will say no. Okay, this is not a ID server. So, ID server is our rep server, which is PRS. Okay, so other things will remain same. So, now let us go to point 4 SA password, that will be Sybase. Okay, and then 8 replication server interface information. So, again as I mentioned before, all these things we should fill from the other server, and then it will automatically read that. So, let us go to let us open one more tab here. Okay. So, let us go to cd/opt/rs02. Okay. And if you see the interface here, there will not be anything right now. Okay. So, what we need to do is we need to copy the details from the other replication server, or we can copy the entries one by one from the ASC1, which is primary. Then replication server entry has to be there. So, secondary replication server has to have the entry of the primary replication server. Okay. So, let us do the VI, and let us open one more session to copy the entries from the RS01. Okay, or we can do cat/opt RS01 interfaces. Okay. So, we can copy all these things except, we will change that. Okay. So, let us go here now and let us paste it here. So, let us change this to RS02. Okay, we will have to change the port number also. So, let us make it 5283 instead of 73. Okay, 83 REP, it will not change, it will remain same. RS01 underscore RSST. So this one, let's change this to 02. Okay, and the port will also change. So let us make it 5285. Okay, AAC1 it will not change, and AAC2 because that's already running right now. So see, ideally we do not need to have entry for AAC1 in this, but then we are also going to show you bidirectional replication. So in that, I mean, even in that, AAC1 is not very much required because communication will happen through rep server, not to AAC1 directly. So AAC1 is primary, AAC2 is secondary, and both of this will go through PRS then SRS. So PRS will be for primary and SRS will be for secondary. Okay, so that should be pretty much of it. So done. So now if you do cat interfaces, that entry should be there. Okay, so now let us come here. Okay, and now let's go into 8 and accept it. So it's completed. Okay, so this should be good now. Okay, ID server information, let's go and provide the ID server information. So ID server name is REP is, and see, so route to RS02 is being created. Okay, so now if you do connect, okay, and if you do RS underscore help route, okay, so it will show you it is still getting created. It was very fast here because all the components are already there. Okay, but when you do it for the very first time, it will take some time for you to get this thing active. If you check the error log, lot of entries will be there. So let me show you. Tel -50 OPT RS02 replication server install and rs02.log. So these all things will be there. Okay, so many things you can see here. So all these things will be there, and they will be there, and then the route will be created. So now route is ready. You can see rs underscore help route, and you can also find from select star from rs underscore id names. Yes, so here you see rs02 underscore RSST. Okay, so that is there. AC1, that is fine. So this is the one. You can also check from admin who, if you do, so you will see that there will be one connection to RS02. Okay, and then as I mentioned before, so we also have one RS01 non ID server. So that's how it works. So route is active right now between primary rep server to secondary rep server. Now what we need to do is we will set up the replication from primary to secondary using PRS and SRS. So before we do anything, what we should do, as we do from the scratch, so we will create a database on the primary, same thing we will do on the secondary server, we will create database, and then this will be part of table level replication. We will not do database level replication, we will do table level replication. Okay, so let's go to the primary now. This is the primary AAC1. So use master, let's create one database now. That is why we should keep the log file there, so that you can refer it back. Okay, so let us do the disk initialization, and let's create database also. Okay, so this is done. Now you can do the table creation. Okay, so if you do sp underscore help test underscore rr, that table will be there. Okay, now let's go to secondary replication server and let's follow the same thing that we did on the AAC1. So let's create database on the AAC2 server. Okay, so all that is done. Now let's create the table. So we are in the rs underscore dd database. Okay, so let's create the table now. Exactly same definition, no difference in that. Okay, so sp underscore help test underscore rr, and this table should be there. Okay, so now what we will do is we will create the replication from primary to secondary. Now it's a table level replication, but still we need to add the connection, right? So let us now, connection is it's a bit tricky here. So connection to AAC1, which is primary, will be done on the PRS. Connection to secondary database or secondary server will be done on the SRS. Okay, that is something which is different from the normal replication setup. Okay, so let's go here. So let's do the exit and echo $Sybase. So RS02 we are in. Let me see if there is something which is here already. Yes, so it is there. You want to exit? Okay, let's exit and let's launch it fresh. Okay, so echo $Sybase. Okay, so now pwd we are in the install directory. So launch that /rs underscore init. Okay, and configure server product. Okay, 1. Now add a database to the replication system. So let's do threads are up. Now what we have to do, you have to set the rep table right on the primary side. So let's do that. That should be on the primary side. So secondary, let's go to primary and let us do that. Set to true. So as of now there is no entry. Select star from test underscore rr. Okay, there is no detail, there is no row, and same is the case on the replicate side on the secondary, I meant. Okay, so now let's do some insert into test underscore rr. Okay, you can do like id session like that, or you can just do the values. So just do values 1. Okay, dba location say India. Okay, mobile, anything you can give. Okay, primary. Now let's go and check. It's not working. Okay, I need to come out of this. Okay, select star from test underscore rr, and the data is replicated. So now it will not replicate vice versa, it will not replicate from secondary to primary. Okay, and one more thing which you can actually see, we have enabled the printing of details in the replication error log. Okay, so let me see where it is right now. So this is RS02 log. So here is that enabled or it's shut? I think it's not enabled right now. So if it is enabled, so basically command will be printed on the secondary side, not on the primary side. That's what something I wanted to show you, but it's not enabled. So replication is working now, and it is going through PRS to SRS and SRS to your target server. Okay, so this is how it works. So this is the error that we got at that time. Okay, so that is fine. Okay, so no issues as such. So everything is working as expected. So let's go to disconnect and admin who is down. Okay, nothing is down on the website now, and on the other side, which is RS02, you will have one replication agent down because we have not done the configuration yet. So once we do the configuration, so it will come up. Okay, that should be pretty much of it for the route creation and how do we set up replication from primary to secondary ASC server using two replication server, PRS and SRS, primary rep server and secondary replication server. Okay, in the next session we will see how do we set up bidirectional replication. We will do the same, we will use the same setup because we have also enabled for the bidirectional, but then we will show you how does it actually work from secondary to primary. Okay, yeah, thank you very much.